Hey guys, it's Fnac Guide, and today I have something rather unique. I have a comparison, a rather old versus new comparison, because I have a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus and a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus. Now, the Galaxy S10 series, other than the S10e, had an underscreen fingerprint scanner as well as a headphone jack. This was the last Galaxy S series phone to have a headphone jack. But I like it because it retains the headphone jack while adding on the underscreen fingerprint scanner. And it was also the first to have a hole punch display, even though it was on the top right, not in the center where it's most commonly found. Now, enter the S25 Plus. Instead of the headphone jack being there, we have the SIM tray, where on the S10, it is on top. And as we move forward here, we notice, like I said, the camera is moved toward the top center. And anyway, let's move on to the price instead of the aesthetics. This you can no longer buy brand new, as, of course, this phone is over 6 years old, though not this particular phone. And I wouldn't really recommend it because you can no longer get software updates for it. Though over here with the S25, it starts at $1,000 for the 256 gigabyte model, which is double what that starts at. And it goes up to $1,120 for the 512 gigabyte model. Now, in terms of colors, the S10 Plus came in 8 colors, which is Prism Black, which I believe this one is. We also have Prism White, Prism Blue, and Prism Green, and Flamingo Pink, Cardinal Red, and Ceramic Black and Ceramic White. Now, as for the Galaxy S25 Plus, it comes in 7 colors, with this being Silver Shadow. Now, the six other colors are Icy Blue, Mint, and Navy, with online exclusive colors being Pink Gold, Coral Red, and Blue Black. And now, in terms of the build quality, these two devices couldn't be any more different. Now, as I've shown in the beginning, I showed the backs in the beginning, but I'll show them again now. The S10 has a very glossy back, and especially in this Prism Black color, it's a fingerprint magnet, the back glass is. Now, the S25, the back glass on that, is a frosted type, and it's very smooth to touch. And now, of course, I forgot to mention with the S10, if you were to get the ceramic black or the ceramic white, it would swap out this back glass being the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 for a ceramic material, which increases the durability. Though I'd recommend getting a case for it, even if you like the ceramic colors and like that it has increased durability over the prism colors and flamingo and whatnot. You should still get a case for this regardless. Now, both, of course, have screens. Glass screens in particular. This one has a screen protector on it, and this one does not, unfortunately. Now, this one, all S10s except for the S10e have curved displays, and all S25s, of course, have flat displays. Samsung has kind of moved away from the whole curved display trend. And, of course, both have aluminum frames. As you can see on the S25 and S10, even though the S10s looks more like the stainless steel you find on an iPhone 14 Pro. It's very glossy, I'd have to say, even though this one's been in use for over 5.5 years, so it looks a lot dirtier. Like I said, this is glossy and it's a bit curved as well to go along with that curved nature. And this S25 Plus is squared off, kind of like the iPhones of today. Though it does give off a heftier feel. Though the S25 Plus does weigh in at about 6.7 ounces, and the S10 Plus weighs in at about 6.17 ounces. So I'd say in terms of ounces on paper, the weight difference is a bit minor. And if you were to put these phones together, I don't see a terrible thickness difference other than the camera bumps on the S25. Keep in mind the S10's cameras are horizontal and the S25's camera orientation is vertical. And the S25's cameras do protrude more. I don't see that much of a thickness difference, and if there is any, it's minor. Now then, if you talk about durability, we did talk about the back glass on the phones, though we didn't talk about the front glass. And the S10, of course, uses Corning's Gorilla Glass 6, and the S25 uses Corning's Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which is slightly softer than the Gorilla Glass 6, though the trade-off is improved shatter resistance, which makes it less likely to shatter when it's dropped on a rough surface like concrete, as the Victus 2 was specifically designed for improved drop performance on rough surfaces. Though regardless, you should still get a screen protector. And talking about the displays on both phones, the S10 Plus has a curved 6.4-inch OLED display, of course with a cutout for the front two cameras on the top right, as mentioned earlier in the video. And of course, the S10 Plus's display is locked at 60 Hz and has a resolution of 1440 by 3040. And that can be lowered to 1080 by 2280 and 720 by 1520. Now, the S10 Plus has approximately 522 pixels per inch. And now, moving on to the S25 Plus. It has a flat, don't forget that, flat 6.7-inch OLED display with a cutout for the front camera in the top center. And this is an LTPO display, meaning it can raise the refresh rate up to 120 Hz and all the way down to 1 Hz. Unlike that, which has its refresh rate locked at 60 Hz. And as you can see, in terms of like scrolling and whatnot, you can judge that for yourself. I'll play that back in slow-mo. And of course, when scrolling, you might notice a difference or might not. I'll play that back in slow-mo too. Of course, beyond that, the S25 Plus has a default resolution of 1080 by 2340 to save battery life, and like the S10 Plus, this can be either decreased or increased to 720 by 1560 or 1440 by 3120. And the S25 Plus has approximately 513 pixels per inch. Now, another thing with the screens, in terms of the screen brightness, the S10 Plus has a peak brightness of 1200 nits, whereas the S25 Plus has a peak brightness of 2600 nits. This is something you'll really notice when you're outside. So that'll appear really dim and that'll appear really light. And by the way, the S25 Plus, I think every S25 series has a higher peak brightness in nits than even the iPhone 16 series. Let me know if I'm wrong. But anyway, in terms of specs, good old specs, the S10 Plus in the United States and Canada, as well as Hong Kong, China, Japan, and all of Latin America except Brazil, use Qualcomm's Snapdragon 855 chip with an 8-core CPU, as well as an Adreno 640 GPU, also from Qualcomm. And the rest of the world will get Samsung's Exynos 9820 chip, which also has an 8-core CPU, as well as an integrated ARM Mali G76 MP12 GPU. And the amount of RAM you get depends on the amount of storage you get. So if you get the 120 or 512 gigabyte S10 models, or S10 Plus models, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM. Though if you get the 1 terabyte models, you get 12 gigabytes of RAM. And something I should note, in terms of connectivity, the S10 series was the world's first phone to support Wi-Fi 6. And in terms of Bluetooth, not much there, just had good old Bluetooth 5.0. But I thought it would be good for you to know that this was in fact the world's first phone to have Wi-Fi 6. And on the other hand, the S25 Plus gets you Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chip worldwide. And this chip also has an 8-core CPU and an Adreno 830 GPU. And it has 12 gigabytes of RAM across the board. And in terms of RAM, I'm speaking for the S25 and S25 Plus. The S25 Ultra has, I believe, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I hope you found this comparison fun, more or less, not really helpful because most people who had an S10 or S10 Plus have already upgraded, and I wouldn't really recommend getting an S10 at this point as your daily driver, more like a hobby, something you use as an iPod, because these things aren't getting software updates anymore. That will be getting software updates for the next 7 years. So, If you enjoyed this comparison or found this helpful, then please make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time. And also stay tuned for a camera comparison video that I have coming for this. There'll be even more fun coming with that.